Welcome to the next video of Medico Crazy, and this video is for the next fat soluble vitamin, that is vitamin E, which is also known as tocopherols. So among the fat soluble vitamin, we already completed vitamin A and D. This is vitamin E. So let's dissect this word, tocopherols. Tocopherols and all is because of alcohol, because of the OH group. Ferrol means to bear and tocos means childbirth. So the word itself is saying I am anti-infertility vitamin. So this vitamin is helpful in keeping the pregnancy and in the reproductive functions. But the fun fact is this is the only alcohol which is capable of preventing reproductive failure in animals. So let's move to the more introductory part of this vitamin. Before this, I will recommend you to check the I button and do watch the other videos as well on other fat soluble vitamins such as A and D. So we have four types of this alpha tocopherol, beta, gamma and delta. Among these, the alpha tocopherol is the most potent biological substance and gamma tocopherol is the most abundant. Alpha is most potent and gamma is most abundant, and the difference between all four of them is nothing but just in a position of the methyl group. So next thing is it is antioxidant. This vitamin is also plays a role of antioxidant, and this is because of the presence of phenolic group, that is of OH group on C6 of the ring, on the C6 position of the ring. So therefore OH group is responsible for the antioxidant property of vitamin E. So this is the question which is asked previously in Indian exams. So who is responsible for the antioxidant property of the vitamin E? It is always OH group. So if we talk about the required daily allowance, which is approximately 20 international units per day for an adult, approximately 20 international units. So let's move to the sources from which we can get vitamin E. We have dietary sources such as cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, soya beans, cabbage, wheat germ oil, almonds. And one thing I want to mention here that as we studied in the previous video, that fat soluble vitamin, the fish liver oil is very much rich in fat soluble vitamin, but it's not the same with vitamin E. Fish liver oil is devoid of vitamin E. So fish liver oil don't have vitamin E, but yes, have vitamin A and D. So let's talk further and let's move to the functions of this vitamin. Why we are talking about these vitamins, why they are important. So the function of vitamin E are the following. So the first function is it prevents the sterility and closely associated with the reproductive functions, and it is essential for membrane structure and integrity of the cell as it prevents the lipid peroxidation, and it helps in the synthesis of coenzyme Q, that is ubiquinone, and also helps in the synthesis of DNA and RNA. So guys, if you are consuming a lot of unsaturated fatty acid, you are consuming a lot of oily food, you are eating a lot of unhealthy food, I will suggest you to increase your required daily allowance for vitamin E just to prevent the peroxidation of the lipids. Because if you are eating a lot of fast food, please stop eating it if you don't want to eat a lot of vitamin E. So what will happen after when you eat vitamin E? After eating vitamin E, it gets absorbed in the intestine along with the lipids, as we know that it is a fat soluble vitamin. Then it transported to liver through cyclomicrons because it cannot move alone. It is fat soluble and stored in liver and adipose tissues. So the storage of the vitamin E is in liver and the adipose tissue. So next, move to the clinical uses of these vitamin. So the clinical uses of this vitamin is very much like we know that we can treat a deficiency of the vitamin. It's with all the vitamins same. It inhibits the free radical, it management of sickle cell anemia, retrorectal fibroplasia, also intermittent claudication and bronchopulmonary dysplasia, intraventricular hemorrhage of prematurity, and it slows the aging girls and decrease the risk of atherosclerosis. This vitamin E also inhibits the free radicals. As I mentioned, it inhibits the free radicals. So how? The vitamin E is reduced in active form. It presents in a reduced form, which is the active form of vitamin E, and then it get converted to the oxidized inactive form. while converting the free radicals to the detoxified radicals which are harmless. So the free radicals which are harmful for the body get detoxified by the vitamin E, and in this process vitamin E get oxidized and get inactivated. So it has to be regenerated, it has to be get activated again. So for the activation of vitamin E we need vitamin C. So vitamin C is responsible for the regeneration of the vitamin E. See, every vitamin helping each other. Vitamin C helpful for vitamin E for the regeneration. So let's move to the deficiency of this vitamin. What will happen if the vitamin is present in less amount in the blood? It will lead to the axonal degeneration, also peripheral neuropathies, spinocerebral ataxia, hemolytic anemia, and in eyes it leads to the pigmented retinopathy, ophthalmoplegia, and nystagmus as well. So these are the this will happen if the deficiency will be there of vitamin E. One function, as we studied, that the function of the vitamin E is to protect against the membrane peroxidation. Let's talk about this in more detail. So it protects the membrane peroxidation of RBCs, of muscles, nerves, and retina. It prevents it. The function is to prevent against membrane peroxidation of RBCs, of muscles, of nerves, and of the retina. So what will happen if there is a deficiency of vitamin E? So if there will be a deficiency of vitamin E, hemolysis of RBC will take place. In RBCs, hemolysis will take place. In muscle dystrophy, in nerves, neuropathies, and retinopathies will take place. So if you are a very good doctor, the next thing which I'm gonna tell you is you must know this: addition of vitamin E with warfarin. Every good doctor knows this. So let's talk about vitamin E. So quinolone is a potent inhibitor of vitamin K dependent gamma carboxylase. So if the gamma carboxylase is inhibited, forget about your clotting factor 2, 7, 9, and 10. And if these clotting factor will not there will be no coagulation. And if we talk about warfarin, it inhibition of the vitamin K dependent gamma carboxylase, same. So there will be no coagulation. So if you add these two things, there will be too much bleeding. So if the patient is taking warfarin, vitamin E is contraindicated. If your patient is already taking warfarin, never give vitamin E to that patient. So let's move to the last things, that are toxicity of the vitamin E toxicity. So if we consider toxic when it is more than 1000 international unit. So in a toxic doses, if it is present in more amount, it interfere with the platelet aggregation and also interfere with vitamin K. So let's take vitamin K and E. If there is deficiency of vitamin K, there will be bleeding, and if for E, there will be hemolytic anemia. If it's in excess, vitamin K is in excess, there will be hemolytic anemia, and if it's in excess, the vitamin E is in excess, there will be bleeding. So see how these vitamins are very much related to each other. So let's talk about gamma carboxylation. So vitamin K is always support gamma carboxylation. Vitamin K supports, stimulates the gamma carboxylation, and if we talk about vitamin E, it inhibits the gamma carboxylation. So therefore, it inhibits the clotting factors 2, 7, 9, and 10. So let's talk about the required daily allowance. So the required daily allowance for the male is 10 mg per day, which is approximately equal to 15 international units. For female, it's equal to 8 mg per day, which is equal to 12 international unit. In pregnancy, 10 mg per day, which is equals to 15 international unit, and in lactation, 12 mg per day equals to 18 international unit. So this is everything which you should know about vitamin E. Please do watch the other videos of vitamin as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to press the subscribe button.